Hello, all you wonderful peeps out in YouTube land. Today we're going to show you how to make the best baked chicken you'll ever eat. Where we brined a whole chicken overnight. We're putting the recipe up for the brine, and this is the size kettle we made the brine in. You do not need a great big, a whole lot of brine because you're talking about a little bitty chicken, not a great big turkey. And yeah, I'm rocking my religious pants. They're more religious than me, but I can't throw them away because I love them. I need to let you guys know we're going to use stovetop stuffing with the chicken. And what we do is we make it using chicken broth when we're doing chicken. So I'm going to let her take it from here.
Recipe calls for a cup and a half water. So we're going to use a cup and a half chicken broth.
And we already shook it well, so. But people, this is the most beautiful day. God has given us such a blessing. And I want to let you know, I'm a little distracted. My sister and her husband were in a really, really bad car accident and had to be life flighted to U of L. And they came home, but he had to go back to the hospital. And any of you all out there who pray, please keep Irma and Ronnie Browning in your prayers, because God was with them in that wreck. Because had he not been, they would have both been killed. They were rear-ended, pushed into another car out into the middle of the intersection and hit at least one more time. And it's scary. So just please keep them in prayer. And especially Ronnie at this moment.
So we're going to add a fourth cup, which is 4 tablespoons butter. Butter.
And you got to bring this to a boil. Otherwise, it ain't going to soak up good into the stovetop. I normally use Pepperidge Farm, but I haven't been able to find my big bags of Pepperidge Farm for the last few times I've been to Sam's.
Well, it seems like you can only get it when it's holiday season.
Yeah, that's the main time, and I think I'll stock up this time.
Well, all that's boiling.
Okay, now, like she said, while that's boiling, we're going to take the chicken and put it in our roasting pan. I've got a small one. I've got a great big one for turkey and a small one for chicken. Just bring it over here.
And she said little bitty. It's not exactly little bitty, but it's nowhere near the size of a turkey.
Exactly. Little bitty to me is anything less than the size of a 20-pound turkey. But you take it straight out of the brine and put it into your roasting pan. You do not rinse it. If you rinse this, it takes away from the flavor. And what you smell when you make your brine, the lovely odor you're getting from the brine water, That's what your chicken's gonna taste like, is what that brine smells like. And it is so good. And you can add to the spices or take away from it. I mean, make it your own recipe. That's what I did. I saw a brining recipe on the 700 Club. Gordon Robertson was brining a turkey. And I thought, if it makes that turkey taste good, I'll keep doing it. So I tried it. I took out some of his ingredients and added some of my own. I don't use ginger. I don't like hot. But
we normally use liquid smoke. We didn't have any.
Yeah, and we
or
did
honey.
exactly.
But
it's still going to be good.
I'm pretty sure we've made it without honey.
We have, and we
just
made
had
it
to serve
without liquid smoke.
So yeah.
But
the recipe will be in the description for the brine.
Yeah, and I tried that on a turkey, and for the first time in my life, I loved turkey. I had hated it all my life. I really did. But it just goes to show you that you've got to try it. It's stuff that you don't like. Try and fix it in a way that you would like it. Stuffed bell peppers. I love bell peppers, but I did not like stuffed bell peppers because I don't like rice in my meat. I'm one of these people, I think rice should be served with sugar, butter, and homemade biscuits. That's just me. But anyway, I decided to do it my way. And I used barbecue sauce in it instead of ketchup. I don't do much ketchup. And I love bell peppers now, stuffed bell peppers. So you just gotta try it in a way that you would like it. Because you can recreate any recipe. All you have to do is think about what you like versus what's in it. And just change it to suit you. But she's bringing this to a boil, and she's going to add the stovetop to it. I don't like baked chicken, but when you brine it, it tastes good. So
any meat,
that's right. You can even brine steaks, and when you fix them, they're more tender and juicy, and you don't have to serve them raw to get that tender juiciness. And I don't do any steak that's pink in it. I'm fully 100% cook that thing until it's done, and even if it's charred around the edges, I don't care. But people, just thank God today for your family and your loved ones, because you never know when you're going to get bad news, which I'm thankful that even though I got the bad news that they were in a car wreck, at least it wasn't death. I was in a horrible car accident on June the 11th of 2003. I had to be taken to U of L myself. It's a great hospital. And I died at one point, and they brought me back. But I don't know why God saved my life, because the doctors said I had no chance. But I lived. And I outdid anything they said I'd do. But just thank God for your family and your loved ones and your friends, and tell them you love them, because you never know when it's the last time you'll get to do that. So please thank him. Okay, now what we're going to do is get this stuff out. Yeah, I need a bowl for this. I do not use what stuffed up the butt. Now, we're going to put a little bit of that
Although
in
it's
there.
good and brine too.
Yeah, it is. It's just I don't like neck. We're going to put a little bit of this inside, but most of it's getting coated on the outside of it to make it pretty and brown. The stuffing, not the bird. It has to be put all over the top of it. It has to be put on the bird. We have trouble communicating sometimes, peeps. Don't think bad of us. I don't finish my sentences right sometimes. I need a spoon again. But you didn't get enough on top, darling. I like to completely coat the top of the bird with it. And this is the first time we've ever done it this way. So she doesn't really know what I'm thinking. But that's good. I don't like anybody to know 100% what I'm thinking, because I may be thinking something bad. Just kidding. I try never to think bad thoughts. Okay. Now, we got the bird ready to be put in the oven. Yep. And we've got the oven set on 400 degrees, and I forgot to take that out. Hold up. Yeah. Where's the green towel?
You got thrown in the dirty clothes.
No, it's right back there.
Oh, yeah, it's got the corn.
That's okay. The corn's dry. We are using corn that we froze last fall. And we'll show you how we do it.
It's pretty much how you do candy corn.
Yeah, it is. It's almost identical, only I like using a little salt and pepper in it.
We just fogged out. Let's put it in with some butter and season it.
Now, maybe next time I'll forget.
Oh, okay.
There.
Now,
I wanted to make sure nobody hit their leg on it, especially someone whose legs are bare. Okay, now we're going to make the corn, get the corn on, and we're going to make potatoes, mashed potatoes. And we're going to show you guys the best way to use your leftover mashed potatoes. I don't like them reheated in the microwave with the butter on it. To me, it doesn't taste the same. But we're going to show you how to make homemade potato cakes. But that comes in a little bit. We're going to get everything together and get it on and get it almost ready. And when we get the potatoes mashed, we're going to show you how to do the potato cakes.
Yep.
But we will return. This will be baking for probably 2 2 hours because I'm only doing it at 400. But, oh, it's going to be so good. Okay, peeps, we're back. And I'm going to show you, now these are freshly mashed, but I'm going to show you the way I do leftover mashed potatoes.
There you go.
Sorry, I had coffee on my face.
No, you got mashed potato on your face.
I had mashed potatoes.
He's still there.
Where?
Other side. Right there.
People I sample what I eat. That's the reason I'm never hungry at dinner time, because I've always sampled enough that I'm
we
full.
lick the beaters.
We lick them beaters clean. Okay. Now this is home frozen corn. It's out from our garden. But the way I do any leftover mashed potatoes I have, I melt some butter and get it good and hot in the pan. While it's getting hot, we need the Lipton onion soup mix and an egg and some flour. Okay, now this is how we do ours. I mean, everybody has their own recipe usually for potato cakes. And then there's people out there who have never heard of potato cakes. So, this is for y'all that ain't never heard of it. Because they are good. And you just mix your egg in real good.
You got plenty of broth. Get a whole other box of it in there.
Okay.
With however many.
There's some in here too. I never run out of broth hardly, because I use it in so many recipes. Okay, now we have 1 egg in it, and we're putting a packet of Lipton onion soup mix in.
Get your skizzers.
Once we find it with the skizzers. Uh-oh, there's no skizzers.
Yeah, they're right there in the thing.
Oh, my bad.
So you need to hurry up and get your new glasses, because you can't see nothing.
I'm telling you, my vision is double. I'm having double vision problems. And they've got me some new glasses ordered that has a prism in each lens, because I have a slightly lazy eye on the left side. My mother's was extremely lazy, and her eye went all the way to the corner, but mine's only slight. You don't even notice it, but I can tell because of my vision. Okay, now this is how this is looking. But I mean, everybody has their own recipe for potato cakes. I grew up cutting fresh onion up in it. But the reason I use the Lipton onion soup mix is because it's got so many spices in it that make it taste even better. But they're not your granny's potato cakes, but they're still good. Okay, I need probably half a cup of flour to start out.
Oh, right here.
Oh. The flour's right there. Oh, my bad. I can't see. And you put enough flour in it to where it makes it like a dough. And then you're going to dollop it in to your hot butter. Now see, this is almost doughy. Now, I'm going to dollop it down. I love using words like dollop and gulp, and a gulp of this and a dollop of that. That's how I was raised saying it. Now we got our butter a little browner than we meant to, but it doesn't hurt nothing. And you just keep kind of covering it with it and letting the bottom get good and brown. And once it gets to where it's firm enough to turn over, you flip it. If I can get it to flip.
One bad thing about nonstick.
Yeah, that's the only bad thing
Can't get
about
anything.
nonstick.
Hard to flip stuff in.
And then you kind of flatten it. That one's not going to be too pretty, but, you know. I don't care if it's pretty or not, just as long as it's good. And this is going to taste so fine.
Just kind of fry them up like pancakes.
Yep, and they look like a very nicely browned pancake.
Potato pancakes.
But to me, there's nothing better than potato cakes. My mama used to make them, and to me, it's a comfort food. It makes me remember my mama, which I've never forgotten her. That didn't come out right. And you take them out when they're golden brown, and you just place them on a plate. And we will be back with you very shortly. This is what your potato cake looks like. Okay, peeps, the only thing we got left to do is we're going to make some gravy to go over the mashed potatoes. Our royal taste tester has arrived, and this is what her plate looks like right now. We're going to put corn on it and cover her mashed potatoes in
Oh
gravy.
my goodness, I can smell it. I can smell that out on the porch.
It is good.
What seasoning is in that chicken?
It's got, read that off to her.
Salt, bay leaves, cloves, sage, the Montreal chicken seasoning, maple syrup, crushed garlic, and butter.
Maple syrup.
Yeah, that's what we put in our
That gives it the
brine.
brown texture.
We always put that in our brine.
We always put it, and usually honey too.
Okay.
But I didn't have any. Well, I got honey, but it crystallized and we threw it away. Because it was fully crystallized. There wasn't no bringing that back by heating it. You'd have just had burnt honey sugar. Okay, we're making the gravy in butter. Because
It's just better that way.
it is. I mean, I love grease. I use grease in a lot of my recipes. But using butter gives it a better flavor, especially when you're putting it over mashed potatoes and chicken. And this chicken, take a look at that, how pretty it is. I'm trying to get Peyton to have a cook-off with me. A chili cook-off is what I want.
Oh, yeah, they told me in the office that they're trying to get permission from the owner to let us use the kitchen for a cook-off.
And
Or just a meal, if nothing else, a meal.
yeah,
Show us how to
I
make
can bring it already cooked down there. And I want to see if people like regular chili over Cincinnati chili. Because you know me, I love the Cincinnati chili. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's not even been opened. And this one, you can't open the thing fully on it because it comes out. That's what I get for buying cheap salt instead of Morton's. Add just a wee bit more flour because it's not quite satiny enough. And that's what I do. I just go by the looks of it.
And then, are you going to use broth or milk or water for the rest
I'm
of it?
going to have her pour me some broth.
Okay.
You can go ahead and about 2 cups. Should be enough. That's probably what's in there. So just pour it in. Because I don't want it brown. You better start pouring, honey. Or it's going to be lumped. And I don't do lumpy gravy. Now hold on. People, you can use milk. You can use water. Powdered milk. But when I'm doing it for chicken, I usually use chicken broth in the gravy.
And keep stirring it.
Yeah, because, and this is your best friend when it comes to gravy. Because they ain't gonna be sitting down and saying, oh my God, it's got lumps. Because this takes all the lumps out. You can put her some corn over on her plate. This is almost done. And you just keep stirring this and until it gets nice and thick. You don't want it too thick because right now it's at perfect texture. And I'll show you what it looks like here in a sec. Okay, hand me her plate. This is how thick you want it. See how nice it pours?
Mm-hmm. And that chicken was in a roasting pan. That's
Yes,
even better.
that's baked.
Mm-hmm.
This is baked. Give this a try.
That looks good. I like white gravy with chicken.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
I like brown gravy too if it's fixed right.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Okay, this is the...
and we showed them how to make potato cakes with their leftover mashed potatoes. I used some of my
some of
fresh.
those too.
I
get to have some of those too.
That's what that
I
is.
know. This is another meal.
Uh-huh. And it's
Okay.
good.
1, 2, 3. Mmm.
Nice and tender, right?
Mmm. That chicken is just melting. That's good. And that's because it was brined first.
Yes.
Overnight or just for a couple hours?
Overnight.
Mmm.
If you brine your meat, people,
That's
it is so
Try the
tender
potato
it
cake.
comes apart.
Oh, okay. I'm going to use my hands.
That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers were made before forks.
Mmm.
What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
That
It's
those,
so good I can't even talk.
Those have
Oh,
lipton onion soup mix.
good. Mmm.
Used to, I always just
Mhm.
diced onion. But Lipton onion soup mix has so many good flavors to it. Well, peeps.
And her corn from the garden. Mm-hmm.
Yep. The garden corn is good too.
From last year, and it's still fresh.
Delicious.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Mm.
You know,
That's
it's
a 10.
good.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
I'm happy to be the official taste tester.
I'm glad. There ain't a whole lot of people's gonna fall for that, especially when it's green meatloaf.
Not playing any more tricks on me.
No, we decided to give you a break.
That wiped me out for the whole day.
But you ate one and a
I was
half helpings.
panicking. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I never had seen green meat before.
She probably never will again.
Oh, boy.
This is yummy.
Isn't that delicious?
Yeah, it is.
Now, we're going to sign off for this week, and we will be back next week with another delicious meal. And may God bless all of you all. And just keep my sister and her husband in your prayers. Thank you.